Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Milwaukee Beer Review. I am the announcer of the night, Josh, and we also have with us...
I'm Ross.
And we also have...
Frank.
Great. Fantastic. We are here tonight with some great beer to share with the community. So we actually have 2 Wisconsin breweries on tap for us here tonight, as well as 1 random beer from a little brewery in New York. Mm-hmm. So... we're kind of going a little casual here tonight with this one. This is a What's in the Fridge episode.
Normally we're much more prepared and professional. Today it's going to be a little off.
Yeah. We are so professional normally. But tonight, we are not professionals. We are just drinking some good beer, and we want to share what we think with you. So, starting off the trio, we have a little something from the Brewing Projekt, which we've done a little bit from in the past. So, Frank, what are we trying?
So, we're doing the Brewing Projekt Slurp. I have to say that because there's 3 S's and 3 P's, but it's Slurp.
Exactly how it's enunciated.
Yeah, it is. So there are multiple Slurps. You have a different Slurp in the fridge over here, but the Slurp we're having tonight is an Imperial Stout with milk sugar, raspberry, and cacao nibs. So kind of seems like they're what's the other one where they do all the variants on it? Not Slush, that's Eagle Park.
Well, he's thinking, well, we get some nose on this.
A little nose on the Slurp.
What the hell is the name of that beer?
You think about it.
I
already know the name.
I have one
a little
in
bit
here.
later on.
Are you thinking of the Resist?
Oh, yeah. You know what this reminds me of is...
raspberry.
What is that Founder's beer, the Rubaeus?
Rubaeus.
This totally smells like that right on the nose.
Oh.
Yeah, you
So-
get all raspberry.
This does come in at 5.6% for those who are curious about those sorts of things. So
5.6% what?
ABV.
Yeah.
What other?
I don't know. Yeah, ton of raspberry on the nose.
Yeah,
that's what you get.
That's all I get. Maybe a little chocolatey sweetness.
It's a dessert beer.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
absolutely.
And we're starting with it because that's how we roll here.
We start with dessert here at this
All right.
household. Cheers,
Cheers,
everybody.
boys.
That's good.
That's really tasty.
It's almost got like a dark chocolate finish to it a little bit.
Definitely the raspberry hits you right away. You get the tartness and the sweetness of the raspberry, but then you get this smooth, chocolatey finish.
If you told me this was Rubaeus, though, I would believe you.
I don't get
Really?
the chocolatiness in Rubaeus.
That's the
though.
thing. It's the
That's
chocolate.
That's the difference.
It's the chocolate in here versus the Rubaeus. Rubaeus is straight raspberry all the way through.
This
I get what you're saying. Like the raspberry notes and the raspberry punch that this provides is the same thing as Founder's Rubaeus.
Yeah.
I don't disagree at all. It's the chocolate though that separates it.
to me, this is a chocolate covered raspberry.
For sure.
It is
absolutely
delicious.
is. 100%.
This is this is how a dessert beer should be done. If I'm being honest, it's
really well made.
It's very you got a very good sweetness from the raspberry. The chocolate's really good without being bitter, but it doesn't taste heavy.
No, it's very light.
This does not taste heavy at all to me.
I mean, there's a heaviness to it, I think, just naturally, but it doesn't taste that way. I think, to your point, it's solid. It's smooth.
Yeah.
The raspberry's there. The chocolate characters are there. You do get the raspberry up front, but then it's mostly like that kind of chocolate creamy note to the back end.
This is as good as this is. I'll classify this as kind of like a one and done. I'm not gonna drink 2 of these at night.
No.
It's this is all right. We're going to bed. We just got done with dinner. I'll have one of these and call it a day.
Now
This is plenty cold, by the way.
Yes,
you were concerned.
I worked out. There are some beers in this kind of same category though, where I couldn't envision myself drinking an entire can though. Where I'm like, I'd be good with a third of it. This is actually one where I feel like, I could drink this entire can. Do I want to drink more than that? No, that would be my limit. Yeah. But it's light enough feeling that I feel I would drink the whole thing. And unlike some other ones where a little too much, where I'm like, okay, half a can's enough.
Now, this is very good. I will say, though, for those who don't like that sweetness to their beers, this might be a bit of a turn-off. It is sweet. And it's very... And the
if
more
you don't like raspberry, you're not going to like this.
It's very sweet. And the more I drink of it, the more sweet I'm getting out of it. Yeah.
It's good, though. I don't think we have to give it a rating.
No,
I just think it's a really solid beer.
If you see it, get it, you'll like it.
Really, really good.
If you like raspberry, you like chocolate, try it.
So up next, we are going to try, and this is a random pickup from Three Cellars, which is one of my favorite places to go in the area. I love picking up stuff from them. This is from Equilibrium Brewing Company. This is the Players Batch 2. So this is a limited release batch of beer. So this is an Imperial Stout brewed with Madagascar vanilla, Fiji cacao nibs, toasted coconut, and Mastra Ghost Bear Espresso. So this is going to be a coffee, vanilla, coconut, Imperial Stout. That sounds freaking baller.
There's
I'm
a
really
lot of stuff going on there. I'm not a huge coffee or coconut person, so let's see how this goes.
Well, I am, so I'm going to drink yours then.
Well, if I like it, I'm taking it.
Yeah, we'll see how this is. But let's get a little nose on this thing and see what we think.
Coffee.
Espresso.
Espresso, okay. Correction.
It is very espresso forward. Mm-hmm. Like, that is the note on the nose.
I get no chocolate, I get no vanilla, I get no coconut.
I get coffee.
There's a little sweetness behind it, but you don't pick up those other notes like the coconut or anything like that for sure.
Yeah, on the Slurp, you could smell raspberry hit you, and you're like, well, there's the chocolate there. This is just straight espresso. This smells like I walked into a coffee shop.
Yeah, it really does, actually.
All right.
Well, let's give it a go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my god.
That's so freaking good.
That's so
smooth.
good.
I don't even like coffee, but it is good.
The espresso is there, but it's actually a lot more subtle
It's
on
tame.
the palate than it
Coconut.
is. The coconut
Really comes through.
through.
It's really good.
The cacao nibs and the chocolate, too.
Yeah.
Boom.
I get more chocolate and vanilla than anything.
Yeah.
I barely taste. I get some coconut on the very, very aftertaste. The coffee hits me right away, and then it's all chocolate and vanilla, and then a little bit.
That's really tasty.
That's
I'm
freaking
back
solid.
That is a tasty beer.
Wow.
I definitely get coconut, and I don't say that to say like it overrides any other flavoring. You get every single flavor that Josh mentioned when he described this beer. You get that coconut's just kind of like a nice little surprise, and it goes away, and then the chocolate and vanilla kind of comes through at the end.
Yeah.
That's really tasty.
Really disappointed I decided to share this with you guys.
Well, you live and learn.
I am not.
After you read the full flavor profile, I was like, I was a little worried, but the two flavors I like most, and the cacao and the vanilla, that's what I get the most of. I don't get a whole lot of
the coconut's
espresso.
there, but it is subtle. The espresso's there, I think a little more prominently than the coconut, but then to your point, the chocolate, the vanilla
that's
notes
what
to it.
that's what wins out. And to me, which is weird, because this just smelled like straight espresso and coffee. It had no other notes on the nose.
Yeah.
But that's not what it tastes like, and for me, that's great.
That is
That's
freaking
really
fantastic.
Good. That's really good.
If you can find that somewhere and you're into Imperial Stouts, definitely check that one out. That one, another dessert beer,
Yeah.
right in that class, but that is solid.
Let's tame the dessert beer, though. I mean, it is a dessert
Yeah.
beer, but I can see myself actually drinking that to start a night.
Props to you, New York. And that one was at what, 11%. So
11%.
that's a heavy hitter. So
Yep, for sure.
So last but not least, we're finishing off with 1840 Brewing. 1840 is out of Bayview here in Wisconsin. So we're drinking the Antique Wheated Rye. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to read the descriptions. I think it's really unique what they did here. Inspired by this beer, it was originally aged in this single barrel. We designed a complex mash of wheat, rye, and corn, all of which are ingredients found in bourbon. So after 24 months of aging, so 2 years, that's 2 years of aging, we package Antique to mimic the experience of drinking bourbon. It's all the flavor without the burn. I was excited about this before I read that, and now that I read that, I'm really excited about this. This is a barrel-aged Imperial brown ale with wheat, rye, and corn, as it states. And when I poured this out, it lacked a lot of carbonation, so it actually kind of poured similar more to a bourbon that you would get. So
it looks very flat.
Yeah,
just from the
it was,
appearance.
and I don't think it's flat in a bad way. I think that's
I think it's the
process,
intent.
so-
Yeah. Most of the stuff 1840 puts out,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of. So
Yeah.
let's get a little nose on this thing.
I bet it smells like bourbon.
I hope so.
It does.
Oh yeah, just bourbon and
Oh
like
my god!
bourbon and almost like
that
like
sweetness.
pear, like it's
That
almost
pear
like
apple.
Pear apple. That's a very good observation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very bourbony with a slight, maybe a little sweeter, a little less burning than you would get with a.
I'm so glad I'm not getting any apricot in this. Like it's purely pear apple.
A whole show ago, Josh.
There was a whole show.
You can't
ago.
make references in different episodes.
It doesn't matter. No one's watching. So
very Harry Doyle of you.
This is gonna be the episode that blows up. You're gonna have 1 million people watching.
I hope so. I hope so. This smells fantastic.
I am excited.
Bourbon, apple, pear. I mean, that's it. That's the nose.
All right, well,
Cheers, everybody.
cheers, everyone.
That was a good harmonics.
It was. Wow, it changes quite a bit.
Ooh, that lingering aftertaste is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Right up front, it was a little weird, but as it sits on your tongue,
It's definitely
The back end of this beer is what makes the beer.
yeah.
yes.
If you order this and you're expecting, it doesn't drink like a beer. It's so smooth. It doesn't have a lot of carbonation. So because of that, it becomes very smooth and it becomes almost like you're drinking a spirit.
Yeah.
So it can throw some people off, but the taste notes are there. If you, again, as it's get, if you like bourbon, you're going to like this with kind of that subtlety of what a brown ale is going to bring to it.
It's got that bourbon undertone to it, but it is fairly subdued in the palate. There's a bourbon undertone. Right on the front end of this, though, you get kind of like the first impression I get of this on the front end is like a little bit off flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I can't quite pick out what flavor is coming through the front end. Is it the bourbon? Is it the brown ale? Is it kind of that pear apple note? But they are kind of mixed in there. But it's weird. It's like they separate. But then as you get through the mid to the back end of the beer, like the bourbon kind of note just kind of comes through a little bit more, and it smooths out towards the back end. And then at the end of the beer, like you kind of get all those flavors all in one, and it really finishes nicely.
I think part of the, as you put, like the off-putting or the off when you, it's more the texture.
Yeah.
It's because it's not carbon. Like if this was a blind taste test and I drink this, like I did not know what this was, I would not guess this is beer like right off the bat because it doesn't drink like a beer, but it's one you kind of have to give a chance. It's very unique. Like I can see people who like this style of beer not like this beer, just for the simple fact it's definitely kind of I'm not gonna say acquired taste because it's the first I've had it, but it's different.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the first thing that hits me is pear. I get pear flavors right off the bat, and it finishes more like a bourbon, a little sweeter than a bourbon, and none of the burn, as the bottle said. But yeah, if I had a blindfold on, somebody just put this in front of me and said drink, I would have never guessed this is a beer.
Yeah.
I would have been like, this is a whiskey fruit thing.
The mouthfeel and the palate on this is more like a wine
Mm-hmm.
than it is beer.
There's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's totally unique. I don't know if I've ever had anything quite like this. I mean, it is totally lacking carbonation, which for a beer is very different. Mm-hmm. And it's a great flavor. It's a little weird for a beer, but it's good in its own unique way.
Yeah. Solid stuff. So, some really great stuff that kind of came out of the fridge tonight. A little bit of randomness to what we're trying here.
There was no cohesiveness to these three things.
No. Although, I do think they all paired actually.
They actually worked pretty well
at the end of the day. So really, really good stuff. If you've tried any of this stuff, let us know in the comments here on YouTube. Look for us on the rest of our social media channels as well. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're here on YouTube, we're on Twitter. Find us in all those places. We'll post the link here. Lots more coming, lots more happening here on the channel as we continue to put out great content here. We have an infinite number of breweries that we plan to showcase some stuff from as we continue forward. And shameless plug from Mr. Frank J. Irons.
MilwaukeeWings.com. We're in a wing shortage right now, but we were getting momentum. We'll be back soon. wings are like prime rib right now, but
Yeah.
soon all the wing places. Well, we need to do some wings and beer pairings here.
For sure. We will absolutely do that. MilwaukeeWings.com. Check them out there. We've all reviewed stuff on that page at some point in time. All types of great beer. All kinds of great wings.
We've also had great beer with the great wing.
We have had great beer.
You weren't wrong.
I was right. I was correct.
Yeah.
Thank you. So good stuff. A lot more to come, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good one.